Why Dogs Bury Bone. Authors Gray Ray, illustrator Jenny Miller. Have you ever wondered why dogs will often want to try to bury a bone underground when there's no one else around? Is it because they worry you'll steal what is left of their marrow meal? Or is there more you should know as to why dogs want to bury their bone? Here's the picture showing the kids looking out the window at the dogs burying their bone. It's a question that tested many good minds across the world and for endless times. And so it was that a much loved vet planned to discover why dogs kept burying their bones in dirt and clay to dig them up on another day. So here it shows step by step of burying a bone. The vet was known as Harry Hoop, who was a genuine doggy snoop. He wanted to be the one to learn why dogs have an instinctive yearn to dig around, to push and scratch, to make a hole in the garden patch, into which to bury their chewed on bone and tap it down with nothing shown. So here is Harry sitting on a stool, and there's the dog trying to bury his bone. Because O'Harry wanted to be a star presenter on TV, he hired a camera and media crew, expecting to find the first real clue that could explain this doggy habit with cameras set and ready to grab it. For screening on the World Wide Web, making Harry Hoop an instant celebrity. And there's Harry looking at the TV, and on the other side are the cameramen and the crew taking pictures. His search began in the Aussie outback with a cattle dog asleep on a sack. His name was Blue, and it could be true. He was the one who actually knew the answer to why dogs bury bones in dirt or mud or under stones. So here is Blue, and he's laying on a sack right here. And so he's going to tell us why dogs bury bones. Blue looked around at the bare surrounds, at the dust and scrub and dry, parched ground. At last he stretched and shook his coat and roughly said, Doc, don't be a goat. The reason we bury bones in the ground is because we're smart and always found. We're really not able, as I'm sure you'll see, to climb up and bury our bones in a tree. With that advice, Blue wandered away to find a cool spot to lie in the shade. So there it is. He's laying in the shade. Back to the city, Harry Hoop sped ready to forget what Blue had said. He knew he now must change his tack to avoid being called a silly old quack. So he set off to see a Rotu collab, best known for her excess flab. Her name was Lily, and she lived to eat and dribble a flood at the sight of meat. So there's Lily. And there's the camera crew in the background. Lily sat up and posed for the crew, claiming to be the one who knew why dogs hide their bones from sight. It's all about dog food rights. If people see we've food to spare, they may decide to cut or share. But if we hide any such clue, we'll still get food when it's due. And there's Lily and the crewman and Harry. Well, Harry wrapped the interview up. He came across a packaging cup. My name is Miss Perfect, I'm proud to announce. And as for the truth, Lily hasn't an ounce. It's not to do with how much we eat, and all to do with being tidy and neat. I bury my bones out of sight to keep my yard clean and bright. So there's Miss Perfect, and she's got a blue bow in her head, and then there's sunflowers in the background there. Harry then made a public appeal to find someone who could best reveal the reason dogs want to bury bones, which started a flood of replies by phone. The best call came from an unusual source, a squirrel called Hank from the US, of course. Sounding like TV Kermit the Frog, Hank told the doc where he'd gone wrong. Dogs don't know why they hide old food, but I'm happy to explain in an interview. And there is Harry on the phone, and there's a sign in the back. They wanted to know why dogs bury bones. So now the squirrel is going to do an interview. Dr. Harry agreed to Hank's request and hopped on a plane to the US. By the time he arrived at Central Park, it was late at night, it was cold and dark. He found Hank sitting in the fork of the tree, and he said to Doc, "Put the camera on me, because I have the answer for the world to know, which I'll share with you on your TV show." So here's the airplane bringing Dr. Harry in, and on the right side, there's the squirrel up in the fork of the tree, and the crewman and Dr. Harry there. As the camera rolled, Hank began to reveal that it's not so easy to find a good meal. Why do you think that squirrels store nuts and bones are buried by cautious mutts? It's all to ensure that when times get tough, we have enough essential foodstuff. Harry knew then he need search no more. The mystery was solved. Of that he was sure. And on the left side, there's a squirrel eating his nuts from where he had stored them in the tree. So next time you see a dog dig around, scratching up earth or building a mound, don't interfere, just leave it alone. Allow it the space to bury its bone. It's a habit of dogs over many a year. It's a way of solving an animal fear of not having food when times get hard with the bone they buried in their backyard. So he's burying the bone, and here it's all covered up. And the family is right here, and the flowers in the background. The end. So now you know why the dogs bury their bones.